A movie adaptation of the most popular video game series of all time? Sounds interesting.
Whatever you plan to do it now!
So Warcraft is directed by Duncan Jones and stars Travis Fimmel, Paula Patton, and Ben Foster. And Warcraft tells the story of this orc named Duratan and his journey through life and how he's kind of at a crossroads in his life. And it tells the conflict of the orcs versus the humans who have been at war for hundreds of years. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Warcraft game series. I've never played it. I don't really know much about it. I know what it is. I know it's hugely popular, but I'm not really a big fan of the games. I've never played them. Despite that, I was still excited to see Warcraft because I really hoped that they could finally do it. They could finally make a video game movie that really lived up to the expectation. And I'm really sad to say that Warcraft is really not good. It really fails on most of the things it sets out to do, and it really does not achieve this epic franchise, crazy, giant world feel that it goes out to achieve. And as far as why the movie fails, I don't think it's necessarily because of the performances the actors gave, but I do think that most of the characters were pretty useless. I felt like Travis Fimmel's character was kind of interesting occasionally. We got a little bit of depth from him, but overall, his mission and his goal was very foggy, and they try and set him up as a family man, but then also his character just doesn't really work. The only characters that I felt like kind of worked was Duratan, the main orc, and Paula Patton's character, who's this kind of half-breed, half-human, half-orc. And those are really the only two characters who I felt any connection to. Everyone else, especially the king, he was really just this figurehead, and you didn't really understand who he was or what he stood for at all. Now, as much as I didn't like all those aspects, by far the worst aspect of this movie was Ben Foster and his little apprentice as the two mages in this movie. Ben Foster plays a mage known as the Guardian, whose entire objective is to protect the humans, and he just doesn't seem like he knows what's going on, ever. He's just very easily manipulated. He does just nothing to help anyone, really, not even himself. He's just this hippie kind of guy living alone. He's not like Gandalf. When Gandalf in Lord of the Rings walks into the frame, you just feel this presence. You feel this wisdom that he brings. And with Ben Foster's character, he's just some selfish mage who's trying to build a golem. It doesn't make any sense. His character is so useless. Now, as far as his apprentice goes, he might even be more useless. They try and make him this kind of charming, honestly, I don't even know what they were trying to do with his character. They try and make him this kind of charming, kind of funny youngster who just kind of learning the ropes, and he's so funny because he messes up occasionally, but he's just not that. He's just awkward. He's got this weird creeper stash going. It's really, his character doesn't work at all. Now, I do think the CGI looks pretty good in this movie. I think because all the orcs are CGI, most of the movie is just computer generated, and I think it actually looks really good. Now, there are a couple points, especially during action sequences when a bunch of set pieces are moving around. It does look very cartoony, and there's some parts that just don't look good at all, but I was overall pretty impressed with how good the CGI looked. The problem this movie had was it just tried to juggle so much at once, and there was just so much nonsense and fluff that didn't need to be there. And I was sitting there in the theater thinking, my God, this is horrible. This was seriously one of the worst things I've ever watched until the final battle sequence, which I really didn't expect to feel any attachment towards, but it was actually a very powerful ending, I thought. And the reason I felt like the ending was so powerful is because the villain they have in this movie, he's actually pretty compelling. He's very cool, and you do kind of feel his presence. Unlike Ben Foster's character, when the villain walks into the screen, you kind of feel this power. And I felt like his conflict with Duratan was really, really convincing and pretty riveting overall. In the end, I think Warcraft had some fascinating fight sequences and maybe had a nice little closing act, but overall failed to do what it set out to achieve, which was create this massive world of Warcraft on the big screen. That's why I'm going to give Warcraft a 1.2 out of 4. Alright guys, so that's the review of Warcraft. I hope you liked it. I don't know if you noticed, there's been quite a big quality difference because I've just got a bunch of new camera gear, and over the summer I'm going to be making some really exciting content, so I really hope you're looking forward to that as much as I am. And the format of these reviews is going to be changing a little bit because I'm not going to be able to shoot at my school anymore. So we'll see where the road takes me. But just wanted to let you guys know, and I hope you drop me a subscribe, drop me a like, whatever it is you do here on YouTube, and see you next week.